What's going on, everybody? It's Josh. Today is going to be a completely different video than what I typically do, so if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. And if you are a member of the Four Horsemen, I hope I don't screw anything up. So pretty much what I'm going to do in this video today is give a guide or an introduction or a what I wish I knew before I started collecting Mythic Legions, because if you are a subscriber to the channel, if you follow any of my social medias, if on Facebook or anything, you know that I am buying a lot of Mythic Legions lately, and some of the big questions that I get are, how do I buy these cheaper? What's the backstory on them? Where do I buy these? Should I buy from Big Bad Toy Store? Should I buy from eBay? Etc, etc. So, I have some bullet points here on my phone that I thought would be a good backstory on Four Horsemen in general and on Mythic Legions. So hopefully I can answer some of your guys' questions in this video. I'm not going to get into super detail about everything because I don't really want this to be a super long video. I want you guys to try to gather some information because some of this stuff that I am going to tell you guys, I wish that I knew before I bought my first Mythic Legion. So before any of this gets started, I do want to say there is a little bit of a backstory, a comic slash book that the Four Horsemen put out. I believe it was back in like 2017 around their first Kickstarter. It's like I said, a comic or a book, but the link for the PDF, like the Dropbox link, is going to be down in the description below. It's a cool little read. I hope that we get more of them. It's cool to see the figures in literature, I guess you could say, and kind of give a backstory, because all of the characters have a backstory, pretty good detail about them. Some are brothers, some serve others, some, just make sure you read it. And then any Mythic Legion that you do buy, on the side of their box, they do have a little backstory, and sometimes it does tell you about other characters and how they intertwine with each other, which I think is very cool. And a big thing about that is that's kind of how we got figures, I guess you could say, back in the 80s or 90s, like G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtles and all of that. There was figures, there was characters, and then a story built, and then you see what we have today with G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtles, all of those types of things. That's why I love this line right now. I'm more invested into it now than I was like a year or so ago when I found out about them, because of the lore, because of the backstory. I personally find it awesome that there are characters on my shelf that are brothers, that are hierarchy from one another, or rivals. You know, there's different factions. There's just a bunch of stuff that I really do support and I love. Lord of the Rings was my childhood, pretty much. I probably watched each one of those movies a good 100 times. Almost up there with Star Wars, and if you guys know me, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Lord of the Rings is definitely like right below them. So Four Horsemen is the company who designs, sculpts everything with Mythic Legions. They have had a couple of other companies or other lines that they've started before. So the original lines, I'm not gonna lie, I have them right here because I do not want to butcher their names, but they have had some original lines. The first one is Seventh Kingdom. It was back in 2005. Those are those the big animal figures that I have been picking up. The first one I believe I found at House of Plastic. It was that big elephant thing. And then we have the Magma Corpse, which is the second one, and I personally have not seen any of those. The Gothotropolis line, that is like the birds. Birds. I do have one bird from the Gothotropolis line. They had released them in actual Mythic Legion packaging as well, which I do have some of those. And there's also Scarabus figures. I don't even think I'm Scarabus. Yeah, Scarabus figure. I'm going to throw some pictures up on the screen of those. I wish I could find some of those at a decent price. They look amazing. I also wish that we still had some of those available today for a good price. But those are very cool. And then we have the Symbiotech, which according to this, they have not seen actual production. I did not know about two of these. I did not know about the Magma Corpse or the Symbiotech. Like I said, I've only been pretty much invested into this line for a little over a year. So I'm trying to do my research to bring it to you guys, to hopefully you can learn something along with me. And then we get into Mythic Legions, which we all know it's their biggest hit, which is their most successful line to date. It started off in like 2015, I believe, was their first Kickstarter, and it was the most successful action figure Kickstarter, I believe. After all of the add-ons and the extras, they raised over like 500,000 or right at 500,000, which is insane for any Kickstarter, but let alone these action figures. They had a ton of figures, and they are actually re-releasing some of those in the All-Star waves, which I'll get into that here in a little bit. Speaking of Kickstarters, based off the interviews that I have read / listened to, I think that they are trying to move away from Kickstarters and just do generic pre-orders, which they actually did last year for the Advent of Decay 2.0 wave, which I was a part of. Since we're talking about pre-orders, I do want to give a little bit of backstory on that. Pretty much what they do is storehorseman.com, which is a site that I highly recommend you guys go to and sign up for their email listing. That way you are kept up to date with everything. And also Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. I would highly suggest following 4 Horsemen, because that's where you get pretty much all of the info first. But for the pre-orders, this is one thing that I wish that I knew. When you pre-order everything, typically they're only up for 2 to 4 weeks, probably maybe even more, just depending. But when you pre-order, they do take the money then, so just be aware of that for the next pre-order coming up of anything. And this is only on Store Horseman. This isn't from any like third-party sites or anything. They will take the money right away, which first I was bummed out about. Now I'm actually happy, because once I get my pre-order in, I am glad I'm not having that much money taken out right away. The lead time on the Advent of Decay 2 pre-order was a little over a year. So that is another thing. Make sure you are patient. Once again, from interviews that I've read and listened to, they want to kind of strive away from the bigger pre-orders and do smaller waves, I guess you could say. So if I can, I am going to throw up some pictures of all the waves that they have done. You can see some waves of like 4 to 5 figures, and then you've seen the Advent of Decay, which was a ton of figures. And on top of the figures, they actually do trolls. If you can see back here in the corner, I have 2 of them. They are releasing their Ice Troll, which is in the upcoming Soul Spiller wave, I believe, which hopefully, speaking of the in-stock, they should be in America in like a month or so. And then after they ship all those pre-orders out, the in-stock sale will be there. So just be patient with that. But they have gone and done bigger figures like the trolls. And they showcased a horse. So they're going to do more riders. They're going to do hopefully a bear, because some of the characters ride a bear or own a bear or train a bear or something with bears that they said. And then they've also talked about doing like a 3-foot dragon, which I would 100% be behind, no doubt about that. So real quick, I want to dive into the price of Mythic Legions, because a lot of people, the number one comment that I get about Mythic Legions, besides how awesome they are, is how expensive they are. The thing that people, personally, I don't think get is everything has an aftermarket once it's not here, especially in our community. Like $150 or $120 Mythic Legion, it's pretty much the same thing as like an $80 or $90 Marvel Legend. Yes, they're expensive, but I mean, that's just what the aftermarket depicts. That's just how it is, unfortunately. So the standard figures for Mythic Legions, they retail, I believe, at $35. I don't know if that's how it was back in the day, because I wasn't a part of that. But right now, I do know that their standard figures are $35. They come just like this. Like this figure would be $35. You know, great paint apps. You get different accessories. You get a different head sculpt, like this skull came with him. I mean, the detail on these figures are insane. I mean, they're on par, if not better than NECA. And NECA's, some of their figures retail for $27, $25. So you get that, all that for $35. And then they have their Legion builders, which is like an army builder, I guess you could say. Same scale of figure. Comes with either the same or a little less accessories. Typically they will come with an extra head sculpt. The paint detail isn't as gorgeous as this, but they still look awesome. This is the Orc Legion builder. So this guy right here, off the jump, if you would have got him on the in-stock sale or the pre-order, $22. And I know the last pre-order that they did, they would sell cases. I believe it was if you bought a case of 6, I think, don't quote me because I do not remember. I believe it even knocked the price down to $20 a figure if you bought 6, or maybe it was 10. Maybe it was a case of, I don't remember. But they had an option where if you bought a case of them, the price per unit would be cut down. Now to me, this is better than a Marvel Legend. Only if you're into this lore, if you're into this figure. But if it's between this and Cyclops and you're a huge X-Men fan, obviously you're going to choose a Cyclops for $20. But I would just buy both, to be completely transparent with you guys. So that's my thing, is don't really judge the aftermarkets on eBay and everything. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Because to me, if you can stay up to date and if you can research and be patient, you can find these for $35 to $22. So to me, that's great. But speaking of that, there are third-party sites that I have ordered from that I know of. Obviously, Big Bad Toy Store. I believe these, like the standard figures, go for $49.99, and then like the Legion builders, I believe they charge $39.99, and the Trolls are upwards of $200. I forgot to mention that. The Trolls, they retail at $100. Also, a new site that I have found, it's called Mallfish Collectibles. They actually have this wave up for pre-order right now. It's like the Siege of something that starts with a B, Bon something. I don't know how to pronounce that name. They also have that up for pre-order right now. They are cheaper than Big Bad Toy Store, but they're a little more expensive, obviously, than Four Horsemen themselves. If you use the link that's down in the description, you get $5 off your first purchase, and you do not have to pay until the product arrives. So make sure if you do use that link, if you do buy some of these Legions, make sure to check the box that says pay upon arrival or something to that nature. If you have never held a Mythic Legion in your hand, you might be wondering how the articulation is. Articulation, honestly, it's not crazy. It's not anything I guess to write home about, as they would say, but it's good. It's very, very good. To me, the detail, the accessories, everything else means a little more to me than the articulation. Also, I don't know what kind of crazy poses you would want a skeleton doing. That's why we have figure arts for obscene poses. But single jointed elbows, the wrist, obviously they move, and there's a forearm swivel, I think that's called. I don't know, I'm not a reviewer. And then the ankle, you have a rocker, and then obviously like the pivot. And then it just depends on the armor with the neck and the head articulation. Everything's removable as well on these figures. The armor pieces do come off sometime. Well, it's a good thing if they don't come off easily. Then also, like, literally everything can be popped off and put on a different figure. So if you have enough figures, if you have enough spare figures, you can actually make your own character, which also falls in line to like the Boss Fight Studio stuff, the 3 3/4, which I have been supporting now for like a year, a little over a year, I would say. So these definitely, it's cool. I have not done it personally because I don't think that I have enough, because I don't have like one of each figure. Once I get into the rhythm of having multiples of the same figure, that's when I'll kind of start to like connect and collect, or connect and create. That's kind of cool, right? So one quick opinion I guess that I could have, because people ask me what do you think that they could do better. I honestly, I don't know what they could do better, because I don't own a toy company and I haven't been a part of that community enough on the independent figure side. I mean, really the only independent figures that I know of is Four Horsemen, Boss Fight Studios, and Spiro Toys. Like, those are really the only 3 that I have purchased and that I have followed for some time now. I don't know how easy or how hard it would be, but the thing that I would want to see is increased production time. I mean, I've waited over a year now, or it's just about to be a year for the figures that I pre-ordered. Like I said, initially I was low-key pretty upset because I thought that I was going to get them in the fall of 2018. But then I just kind of let it go and said, you know what, it's fine, it is what it is, there's nothing that I can do. And then I started buying a lot more. I don't know if I've said this or not, because I'm trying to just one clip this and not keep turning the camera off. But I believe that they're going to try to do multiple waves in a year, a shorter amount of time in between waves. So like smaller waves, like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 figures versus the Advent of Decay one, which had a lot. So that's really what I can say. In the quality control, some of the figures, you do get them and they do have loose joints. I've had a couple issues with like a loose hip, but you put them on a stand and they're fine. They're not as bad, but to have them just displayed there, to me they look great. And hopefully I'll be doing another video once I get my pre-order of I only ordered like 11 or 12 of them, but I'm pretty excited for that. So I think that is really going to do it for the video, guys. I wanted to make this short and sweet. Hopefully you guys did watch until the end. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Also, if you have any questions, if you want me to do this again, give you guys a more in-depth look on this stuff, let me know down in the comments below. Also, please let me know, do you collect Mythic Legions? Do you want to collect Mythic Legions? And how long have you been collecting them, if you have? Because I am very curious. I see a lot of people now buying their first Mythic Legion, and then I also see a lot of people with like 200 of them. So me, that's my display thus far, and it is mixed in with some 7th Kingdom stuff. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I think this is going out tonight. This is Friday. So yeah, going to a toy show tomorrow in Xenia. So if you are there, please say hello. And then Sunday, I am going to do a toy photography vlog with these Mythic Legions, but I'm going out to Homie Toy Bows. Hopefully we can get some good pictures. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the video. I know I said this, but like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. I will see you in the next video. I love you so flippin' much. Thank you for the support, and as always, may the figs be with you.